what you were running for the first time you decided to run for city council. What were you running for then?
So actually, there's a little bit of a history that you may or may not be aware of. In 2007 was actually the first time I ran and I lost. Then I ran in 2013, which was a gap of 6 years, and that's when I was successful, which is 2 years ago, obviously. So I think you're referring to the last to 2013, or that's probably where we should start. A lot of the issues that I think are still there were issues that I feel passionate about. I mean, I think we could do a lot better job in our city making it more friendly to small business owners. I think we could do a lot better in the city by making people feel safer in their neighborhoods. And I also think we could do a better job giving people that want to own a home the opportunity to buy their own home. And I think that's one of the consistent themes that I've had last term and this term, is that in my practice, which is as a lawyer, I run into people all the time that pay rent, which is a higher rate than they would be paying a mortgage. They just don't have a down payment. And if they had the opportunity to buy their own home, they would embrace that. And I think neighborhoods are much more safe and much more stable when more people own their own homes. And I think most people, given that opportunity, would love to own their own home.
Mm-hmm. So you said this is you feel like you have more time. You need more time to really to get more things done.
Okay.
What are some of the misconceptions about being a member of the city council?
I think a lot of people think we only really work Tuesday nights, but the reality is, whether you're district councilor or at-large councilor, you're working every day, and there are constituent issues that have to be worked out. So Tuesday night meetings are actually just a small snapshot of what you do during the week. I think the other thing that's probably a misconception too is that people sometimes it takes so long in city government to get something accomplished. They think you're not constantly working at it just because so much time has transpired.
Yep.
But it's not always. We can't always wave a magic wand and get something done. There's all these other departments and other people that have to be consulted to get things done. That's the nature of government. It's slow.
Same thing with preaching. People think that, the pastor, he only works Sunday.
Right.
And that only time you see him Sunday and that's it. And then through the rest of the week he does nothing. And he comes up, that's why they gain so much weight. No, there's so much more that they do then. But this question I ask everybody who comes on the show when they are into making the city better. When did you fall in love with Worcester?
Well, I think I was born falling in love with Worcester for the following reason. My parents were immigrants that came to Worcester under tough circumstances after World War II. Worcester gave my parents an opportunity to start a new life. I always appreciated Worcester because my parents started anew in Worcester. Raised a family, were able to make a living, own their own home, send their kids to public school, and eventually to college. And Worcester gave my parents that second chance. So I always was indebted to Worcester.
Okay,
so I have a question. So you stated that the people buying their own homes. Right. So, and you say that it's because they don't have a down payment.
Well, oftentimes, not always. Some people just don't want to own their own home, and I get that.
Because I'm one of the ones that don't want to own a home. One, because I can't fix anything, and I know how much that's going to cost me. However, in getting to the point where you can actually get that, to have somebody get a home, one, you have to understand what your credit is. And I think it's more of a knowledge-based and education behind trying to own a home, because a lot of people don't know about the Title V, knowing the sewage and all of that stuff. So there's a lot of education that I think needs to happen.
I agree with you, and I think what I am talking about and what you're talking about are much of the same thing, and that is that a lot of people are not as educated as they need to be on what it takes to buy a home. But with that education, I think there would be a lot more people that would be willing to own their own home. First of all, they'd save money. Second of all, they could have equity built up in their home if they have children that want to go to college or grandchildren. They can pull some of that out. Some of it's available for retirement. It's also stability. When you have children in the school system, you have a landlord that might move you out next week because his cousin needs a place to live. You're not doing a great service to your kids too, and they have to go to a different school district. So there's lots of good reasons to own your own home. But I agree with you. If you're not educated about it, you could fall into a bad situation.
Yes. So what are you running for this time? Now, you said there are a lot of the same reasons.
There are a lot of the same reasons.
What are some of the different reasons?
I can't say that there's any one particular new issue that wasn't there 2 years ago. And as I said earlier, government goes slow, so it's not. For me, it's not unusual for there to be the same issues 2 years later than there was 2 years ago. I think I probably have a renewed passion for the idea of home ownership because, I see a lot of stability in neighborhoods where that happens. I also think public safety is probably at a heightened level than it was 2 years ago as far as people needing to feel safe no matter what neighborhood they live in. And a lot of times, I think there's an assumption, it's just a bad neighborhood, so what do you expect? And I don't think that's an acceptable answer because there are a lot of great people in all types of neighborhoods and they deserve to be as safe as people that maybe live in a more expensive neighborhood. So I think trying to get public safety under control where everybody in every neighborhood at least feels safer than they did the day before is a worthwhile goal.
Okay.
So I've been to a couple of city council meetings. And I've seen that sometimes the city council members kind of not agree on a lot of things.
With each other.
With each other, yes.
I'm guessing you were going that way.
Yeah. How many of them do you not like?
That's not nice.
I think I would be in an uncomfortable situation to call anyone out. But I will say this much, that I do think that philosophically, there's probably only one or two counselors that I think try to use issues for political gain more than they use the issues to try to solve the issues. And I think for the most part, the overwhelming majority of the council, even if we disagree with each other, I think we're all trying to solve the issues
for the betterment
of the city. And there's probably one or two councilors that would rather take advantage of the situation for political gain than necessarily trying to solve the problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think I probably answered your question without necessarily answering it.
Right. This is a good answer too, because
And that's
You
why
did
I feel
that.
safe.
I had a Telegram Gazette ready saying Mo does not like this.
That's
one.
in my
Yes.
safe zone, the way I just answered.
Yeah. All right. So it's my first time meeting you, and you're coming to my door, and you're saying, "I want you to vote for me." Why?
Well, two reasons. One, let me give you the reason that's on paper, and then I'll give you the reason that doesn't show up on paper. The reason that's on paper is, product of the Worcester Public Schools, college educated, a degree in business and financing and marketing, which is really something the city really needs as a much better marketing effort. Law school, and I can tell you that as a city councilor, being a lawyer is not a requirement, but it's certainly very, very helpful because there's a lot of issues that come up where being a lawyer is very helpful. I served 2 terms on the Zoning Board of Appeals, and I can tell you that that's also a benefit to have had that experience. You learn to work as a group, you learn to take feedback and try to make judgment calls, balancing the rights of certain constituency groups. And obviously 1 term on the council, which gives me an enhanced experience. So that's what you'd see on, and I have children in Worcester Public Schools, so that's what you'd see on paper.
Yep.
And what you don't see on paper, I think, is the character of the person running. I don't do this for the power or the money. I do this to try to give back to the community. The truth be told is I'd rather be called a public servant than a politician because I think the politician definition defines somebody who makes decisions based on whether or not they're going to lose votes or gain votes because they're worried about re-election. And I'm not worried about any re-election other than I want to continue to serve. But if that means I have to take votes that I don't think are true to my beliefs, I'd rather lose the election than change my belief system. So I run based on trying to do the right thing regardless of whether or not I gain votes or lose votes. And I think that's refreshing and novel in an age and era where people are always trying to make decisions based on whether or not they're simply going to help themselves or hurt themselves being reelected.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and then we will be right back with Mo Bergman.